Hi, it's Dale again, coming to you from my garage. I do apologize, but it's been several weeks since I have made a video, and the reason is because my day job and my life just kind of got in the way. I got pulled out of town for several weeks, but now I'm back. When I get back, my son shows me a bulletin board in a catalog and says, "Dad, I want this." Bulletin board, something like $80 or $90, and me being an executive member of the Cool Dad Club, I tell my son, "Hey, I can make that for you." I think I'll be able to make 2 bulletin boards out of this one by 6 foot pine board. And I drew up plans in the actual original SketchUp, which is grid paper and a pencil. So let's get started. The first cuts we want to make are just rough cutting the board down to length. The first at 20 inches and the next 2 at 25 inches. After we rip the boards, we will then come back and cut them to their exact length needed. Set your fence to 1 1/4 inches. Take the 20-inch board that we cut and rip 4 1 1/4 inch boards. These boards will be used for the left and right sides of the back of the bulletin board frame, which holds the frame off the wall. Remember, we're cutting 4 boards here. We only need 2 per bulletin board. I'm making 2 bulletin boards, so I need 4 boards. Off camera, I also ripped 1 1/4 boards from each of the 25-inch boards we initially cut. These will be used for the top and bottom back piece of the frame. Reset your fence to 2 inches now. Take the 25-inch boards, both of them, and rip 4 2-inch boards, 2 out of each. Remember, off camera, I already ripped 1 1/4 off of each of these boards while I had my fence set at 1 1/4. These 2-inch boards will be the frame of the bulletin board. Again, I need 4 boards because I'm making 2 bulletin boards. If you're only making 1 bulletin board, you only need 2. Take the 2 25-inch boards that are 1 1/4 inch and cut them in half so that you'll have 4 12.5-inch boards. Now take the 4 20-inch 1 1/4 inch boards and simply clean off the edge so that they're all exactly the same length. This gives you all of the boards needed for 2 bulletin boards for the backing, which will hold it off the wall. This will make more sense once we start the assembly process. Take the 2-inch boards that are 25 inches, you should have 4 of those, and cut those down to 21.5 inches. At this point, you have all the boards cut to fully assemble the frame. Okay, I miscalculated a little bit. Originally, I was going to create 2 of these bulletin boards with just a frame around the bulletin board portion of it. Last minute, I decided to change my plans a little bit, and I was going to create the 1 1/4 strips that will sit against the inside of the frame to hold it off the wall a little bit. I thought I might like that look a little bit better. So I did some quick recalculating, using the SketchUp original version, graph paper and pencil, and my calculations were off. I actually needed, instead of a 1 by 6 by 6, I needed a 1 by 6 by 8. So off to the hardware store I went, and I grabbed myself a new 1 by 6. Now I can go ahead and move forward and finish. Maybe it's time to start learning the real Google SketchUp. Might have helped with this, I don't know. Math is really hard sometimes. After returning from Home Depot with a brand new shiny 1 by 6, I can now cut the boards for the top and bottom of the bulletin board frames. So I repeat the process of first cutting them to length, which is 11 3/8 inches, and then ripping them at 2 inches. Remember, I'm ripping 4 pieces. That way I can make both of my bulletin boards. If you're only making one, you only need 2 of these 11 3/8 by 2-inch boards. Now I have all the pieces cut to size. I'll show you how I'm going to assemble it. I'm only going to assemble one on camera, as the other one will be an exact duplicate. So here's how it's going to fit together. I'm going to take the 1 1/4 strips that I cut. I'm going to stand them so that the 1 1/4 is standing up. I'm going to butt joint them like this. I'm going to take the 2-inch pieces and I'm going to put them over like so. Using butt joints, I'm going to use pocket screws. This way I'm going to leave about a 1/2 inch gap all the way around the inside for the cork board to fit through and hold on snug on the back. That'll leave 3/8 of an inch on the outside, and this should hold it off the wall 1 1/4 inches. I think that's going to look nice. Next comes the pocket holes. The 1 1/4 inch boards get 1 pocket hole on each side on the top and the bottom, and the 2-inch face frame gets 2 pocket holes on each side of the top and bottom. I'm using Craig pocket hole screws, 1 1/4 inches long and coarse grade because it's just soft pine. I first assemble the back portion of the frame that holds it off the wall, the 1 1/4 inches. I attach the sides to the top and the bottom, and then I do the same thing for the 2-inch boards, which is the face frame, except those get 2 screws in each joint in the top and the bottom. Over to the router table we go, and I get my round over bit and I round over the inside edge of the 2-inch face plate just to soften it up a bit. It's time to attach the back to the face frame. To do that, I'm only going to use glue. I'm not too worried about it. Glues are super strong these days. It's going to be no in-grain glue up, so it should be very strong. We're not talking a lot of weight. It's just a bulletin board. So, and able to get that back glued on perfectly centered onto the face frame, let me show you what I have set up to help me do that. So what I have here is I have clamped down 2 of my levels, which I know have a very straight edge, clamped them down. I'm going to take the face frame turned upside down and I'm going to slide it into the corner here so it's nice and tight. I'm then going to take 2 pieces of 3/4 inch wood, put those on the side and the front up nice and tight, and I know that it's going to be a 3/4 inch reveal around the entire side with a 1/2 inch on the inside. So then I can take my back plate, my back pieces of wood, slide those right into place, of course after gluing it. I'll then be able to take some weights and push them down on top of here to have it have a good glue. Let it sit for a while, and at that point then it should be done, ready to go, ready to put the cork board in. Let's see how it goes. From a 1/4 inch piece of plywood, I cut the back about 13 by 19, which is oversized for what I need, but I'll trim it down to size once I get the cork board glued onto it. Using my level as a straight edge, I simply get my razor and I cut through the cork board. The cork board is about a 1/4 inch thick. Run the razor blade over it a few times, it cuts like butter. Now we put on lots of glue, and I mean lots of glue. We spread it around nice and even all over the plywood back, place the cork board on top of that, weight it down, and let it dry. Time to cut the back to 12 1/4 by 18 3/8. Two of those sides I can cut on my table saw, but the other two are too big for my table saw, so I have to use my circular saw. This back at 12 1/4 by 18 3/8, it should fit into the back opening, which is 12 3/8 by 18 1/2 nicely. After letting the glue dry, I'm able to go ahead and slip in the back, and it's a really nice fit, just maybe about a 1/16 of an inch on either side all the way around. I'm thinking the only thing I have left to do now is to attach the back, but first I would want to finish it up. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, I am an executive level member of the Cool Dad Club, and actually I'm a leader of the Southeast chapter. I'd like to get a board seat. So what could I do to enhance this so that I could get that board seat that's currently open in the Southeast chapter of the Cool Dad Club?
Puny Human Build Avenger Bulletin Board.
I guess I'm making an Avengers Bulletin Board. I found some really cool Avengers material online, so I bought some. I cut it so that it's a few inches larger on all sides of my back. I ironed it smooth and then clamped it down to my workbench so that it wouldn't move. I put a healthy amount of spray adhesive on the cork board, figuring it was going to soak in some. Also put a thinner layer of spray adhesive on the back of the material. Carefully lined up where I was going to put the cork board. I then folded the material over and stapled it. And I think it turned out pretty darn good. I've never worked with material like this before. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I'm really happy with the results. Rather than bore you and have you just sit and watch me paint, I'll tell you what I did, and that is first put a base coat of blue on, let it dry, then I come back with red, where I get red on the brush, I pat it out so that there's not much red left on the brush, and then I just lightly, very lightly, stroke the brush over the frame so that just small streaks of red pop on to the blue. After a couple coats of polyurethane, I use 3/4 inch angle brackets to attach the corkboard to the frame, and then we can call it done. So there you have it, an Avengers Bulletin Board, and I think my son's really going to like it. I really like it. I love the way it came out. First time trying this painting technique, and I am not a painter, and I'm pretty happy with it. I had a lot of fun building it. It was pretty easy to build. Total cost was about $40, and then remember I bought enough to build 2 of these. I'll be building the other one off camera. The most expensive part really was the fabric. I didn't really know how much I was going to need, so I probably bought enough to build 4 of them. So if you take all that, if I would have bought things, so if I would have bought material proper to just one of these, probably looking at about $10 to maybe $15. And it's custom, it's perfect, it's exactly what he likes. I'm hoping that this will get me that board position on the Cool Dads Club. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to follow me along, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And if you have any questions or comments, maybe you saw something I could have done better or got any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Down below, I'll also have a cut list on all the sizes. I'll put the cut list for just one bulletin board rather than two. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.
Puny human, Hulk-like.